Hi. Life. Very much what showed up this week, given last week there was this real opening to that which is yet to show itself in a way we've not seen before. And at the same time, a clearing happening that's bubbling up to the surface that cannot be held down anymore, which is not necessarily pleasant, but it needs to come out, it needs to be resolved. So life showed up, and a new life, very much a new life, and seeing through all the different prisms that we all are and how this was revealed. And this morning I was listening with a friend to Richard Rudd's last Gene Key sharing, which is Gene Key 1, called Beauty. And in the description it was wonderful because there was this photo of a hand with a butterfly, the metaphor of the butterfly, and the inscription was, "Genius is built on mistakes." Mistakes can feel like a death, like an ending of something, but in that a new life is born. And as we move forward, life does show the beauty of mistakes, and we can look back and see the beauty in it, which very often cannot be seen at the time that the mistake is revealed or the mistake shows itself, or to reflect and notice the mistake. And in noticing the mistake, which is sometimes very difficult to see because they're very often at a very deep level where they're not seen. So to actually see it as a mistake when for many lifetimes it was seen as the way to go is an enormous new birth. So it showed up in a strange way initially, where it showed up like the space that's outside of time and space to some extent, like the rest of life showed up as life, which sounds weird. But what it was saying is we can be stuck in old patterns, we can be stuck in routines, and being stuck in routines, we end up missing out on life, because whatever project is going on, we can be so focused on the project and how it's going and how to overcome and what next comes through, that in that life can be missing. And what showed up in here was like, wow, yes, all that stuff that has been happening, there is now the time to actually enjoy it, to realize that the project is birthed, and to now not be interested in this project, which is life itself and the enjoyment of life in observing it and partaking in it, and to go to joy. And the sticking point was a sense of, and this showed up in other sessions as well, a particular word, and in the word that was shown in this one was, do I deserve this? Deserve's not even a question. It's not a question, like, of course. This, to have a sense of, we don't even need to deserve. Life is there for the taking. You either take it or you don't take it. And there was that sense of taking on life. And to take that on is a new life. It's a new way of being. Another that came, the word, interestingly, that showed up, that was the blockage, was guilty. I don't know about you, but it's really weird when someone honks a horn while you're driving along. There's this instinct of, what did I do? It's bizarre, this sense. And I've been listening to, going back over some of John Lam Lash's sharings of Sophia and how she came to be here, Mother Earth, and how all of this happened with the eon of Sophia coming into the galaxy that we're in, and the landing being a mistake. You know, we make mistakes, but to carry guilty around is not of service, because then you're always defending yourself against, no, I'm not, yes, I am, no, I'm not, am I? It's a sense, we make mistakes. There's no way we don't make mistakes. We make mistakes. And it's about moving forward, knowing we make mistakes. And then to not carry this heavy burden of guilt and how do I defend myself, and this whole process and the heaviness, which then stops us from making other mistakes, which it's to make mistakes is how we get there. Which was really followed by somebody who was so loving in all their connections, in empathy, that there was so much care and concern. There's where is the movement of your own life when so much is continuously in caring for so completely that there's nothing left for yourself? And getting very clear what others could do themselves, and that which you truly feel is that okayness to do. It's like, yes, that I can make my baby, but that there is not my baby, it's their baby, not my baby. So getting this, to be able to distinguish between what you feel a very strong connection to, that you can say, that I can do. Because otherwise, it's so across the board that you're constantly in a space of feeling obligated or needing to, which again is not a life. So the new life comes from recognizing what is my baby and what is not my baby, so that you as the baby can also have a life. Then it went, the next two very much went into patterns that had been around for an extremely long time. And it showed up in physical problems, both showed up in physical problems, and trying to find the solution to it, to overcome it. It needed to be seen for the new life that really is offering itself, or else the old was repeating. And it showed up like this, which is very interesting. So we have this life we're in, and this life, if connected to another pattern, and it's trying to work hard to normalize that pattern as a working with, to normalize. What it showed up is that this pattern has become inactive in the world. It's not there anymore to normalize. Therefore, to try and normalize something which isn't there anymore, but it's been there in so many lifetimes but has become inactive, which is an extraordinary thing to ponder, that we've come along to such an extent that there are patterns that are inactive and not needing to be worked on anymore. So that was delicious to see that we cannot work on something that isn't there anymore. And the pain caused in the body was quite extreme, because to work harder and harder at something that isn't there anymore just creates more and more energy that then disturbs. And what showed up after that pattern disappeared, it actually went to another aspect in the physical body that said, well, if that isn't there, this generational hostility doesn't need to be there anymore either. Massive shifts, no doubt, we're all encountering with these patterns showing up. And the next pattern that showed up was an incredibly capable being, which we are. And again, showing up with pain. Both shoulders, both hips. And it was increasing, and the capacity to deal with this, very, very capable at self-healing. And why did these things not move, and in fact started to increase? And the session showed up in this amazing ability in management. But the spirit showed up, I can't do this anymore. And it was very difficult to grasp what the heck this was, because management was such a skill and so beautifully capable in emotionally, physically, spiritually, etc., in life itself, that it was hard to grasp what on earth it was trying to say here. But what happened is it went back to around the first Saturn return in her life. And it was so profound and so full on at that age, with so much going on, that what arrived was not able to be integrated or actioned at that time. And what showed up was that this lifetime in which she is living, and this full capacity that she had in this management, it then said, you manage that life, you manage that life, you manage that life. And it showed all these lifetimes of management. And it's basically said to her, the gift of that capacity is like rest. And know that which needs to be known or come through will come through you. So it isn't about planning, it isn't about having to work it all out and have all the steps in place or be a step ahead. It was literally saying, rest, rest, rest the wheels of the hips and the shoulders, the whole movement. It could not do management anymore. And it was saying, really, you don't need to. It will come through. And that was the gift that showed up at the first Saturn return. And it was recognized that that was a massive thing that happened, that now the dots can be joined from that time to present time, and to allow things to show up, which is a new life. To not do it in that way, but to do it in another new way. The same as the one I discussed before, which was to see that we don't have to do these repeats of what we feel needs to be resolved in this world, and no need to carry that hostility for all that has gone by. That too is a new life. To be able to die and to what has happened, and to stand in the fresh new and say, I can do this, or that is a new way. That's how we are reborn, over and over and over and over again. You know, in times gone past, and I used to reflect on this, to make these changes, we weren't as flexible. People would die, be reborn again, to then continue the path of whatever that path is. But this time we stay and we die and we get reborn. We stay, we die, we get reborn. And it's a continuous space and place of dying and being reborn. Very brave, very powerful, extraordinary gems that we get out of living life in that way. The cards that showed up were adventure and stillness. I will put a link below the video of Richard Rudd's sharing of this week, which is Gene Key 1, and it's called Beauty, because really adventure and stillness were in his sharing as well. I find it quite interesting that what shows up in sessions, what is shared by others during the week, it's like we're on the same page, we're speaking the same language, and it's delicious. So listening to him is just another way of hearing this. So I'll put a link below. So adventure. Enter into everything with openness and love, and enjoy the adventure of living. You never know what's coming next. Stillness. Take time to be still, to appreciate the beauty in every moment. Quiet your busy mind and allow the still softness of peace to envelop you. Do not rush into anything, but sit meditatively. And in this stillness, your answers may be found. To attain what has eluded you, be still and allow it to land upon you, as a feather would gently float into your hand, and so do your wishes descend upon you. Awesome week. Much love.